Hey there, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts, and I'm excited to share our review of Gerson Lehrman Group, or GLG as I'll refer to them in this video, with you guys. Perhaps you clicked on this video because GLG reached out to you about speaking to one of their clients for a high hourly rate, completing a paid survey, or interviewing for a role with the company. In this video, I'll share what you need to know about potentially working with GLG. So let's start with an overview of the expert network industry. Expert networks specialize in helping high-profile clients like investment managers, venture capitalists, and management consultants before they're about to make a really major business decision. Like maybe they're about to launch a new product, or start a business merger, or have a multi-million-dollar investment. So these clients want to take a deep dive into the company or the industry they're researching and go way beyond what they can find from just a few online articles. They're after the inside scoop from people who really know what's going on, like former employees, customers, vendors, or competitors. Opinions from people with expertise on a topic is highly valuable to them, so they're willing to pay top dollar for just an hour of your time. And they turn to companies like GLG to find the right people to speak with. There are nearly 200 expert networks around the world, and this under-the-radar industry generates nearly $2 billion in annual revenue. GLG is actually the company that started this industry. They were founded in 1998 in New York City with their original focus on writing sector-specific reports for investors. But when the founders realized the power of one-on-one consulting, they shifted gears and made that their focus. Now they operate multiple offices throughout the US and one in London, while their headquarters still remains in New York City. Today they have a staff of over 2,000 employees, with 900,000 people in their expert database, covering practically any product, company, or industry that you could think of. These experts are located around the world, and GLG's large team of experts of recruiters reaches out to new prospective expert consultants every single day. If you haven't consulted through GLG before, the process is actually pretty simple. The first step will be to establish your qualifications either with a phone call with a recruiter or by answering a few questions through an online form. You're also going to want to create an online profile with your resume or career history, and this can also help you qualify for future projects and paid surveys through GLG, so it's definitely a worthwhile aspect of the website. Once the project is confirmed, your recruiter will help you schedule a convenient time for the phone call with the client. Now, when it comes time for the conversation with the client, these are usually pretty easy and engaging because, of course, it's very nice to be considered an expert. The client will generally want to know a bit about your background and then get a download from you on the topic they're researching. So they're going to come prepared with pointed questions that they're very eager to get your opinion on. But of course, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something, because these clients are looking for hard facts and not wild guesses. And of course, they don't expect you to know all of the answers to all of their questions, and you'll never be pressured to give out information you're not comfortable sharing. Now, one of the best parts about expert network consulting with websites like GLG is that as soon as you hang up the phone, your work is done, and it just takes a few clicks to set up the payment. You should be able to expect to get paid within a week or two. And the rates on GLG are pretty great as well. They usually start from several $100s per hour and can quickly climb to $500 per hour for very experienced professionals or more senior executives or people with a very specialized area of expertise. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network's expert. And today I'm going to be sharing our review of Guidepoint Global. Guidepoint has a large and growing team of expert recruiters that works to constantly find new expert consultants for its high volume of micro-consulting projects. These recruiters spend their days researching LinkedIn profiles, online bios, and other sources to find prospective new consultants. So if you're watching this video because you received a curious message or email and want to know if Guidepoint is legit, then you've come to the right place. Guidepoint is one of the big 5 companies that dominate the expert networks industry. They were founded in 2003 in New York under the name Clinical Advisors, and initially they were focused on the healthcare industry before they expanded into other sectors. They eventually rebranded as Guidepoint Global, and later just Guidepoint. Since then, they've branched out to more locations worldwide. Expert networks like Guidepoint work to connect business clients in a wide range of industries to advisors who can offer business insights via direct, private phone consultations or through surveys that provide information to drive decision-making. These consultations are used to inform decisions on multi-million-dollar company decisions. So these clients are willing to pay top dollar for just an hour of your time if you have the expertise that they're looking for. And with the industry facilitating more than 1 million expert consulting calls each year, odds are pretty high that someone is searching for your expertise, no matter what field you're in. If you haven't worked with Guidepoint before, let me give you an overview. The first thing that will happen is you'll probably speak to a recruiter to answer a few questions about your background and qualifications for the project. This usually only takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes you also have the option to just answer a few short online questions in a questionnaire. You should also be sure to set up your online profile to help Guidepoint identify future projects that you might be qualified for. Of course, you won't be selected for every project that you apply for, but don't be discouraged if you're passed over initially. Once you're approved for the client call, the recruiter will handle scheduling and logistics. All you need to do is dial in when it's time for the call. The calls tend to be easy, interesting, and engaging. After all, you're talking about something that you've likely had years of experience doing, so it can be rewarding to help quickly educate the client on a new topic that is of a high importance to them. Plus, it's always nice to be considered an expert on a subject. When you're on the call, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something if that's the case, and of course you'll never be pressured to give out information that you're not comfortable sharing. Once the call is done, your job is done. There are no deliverables or follow-ups, and it just takes a few clicks to get paid by Guidepoint. Guidepoint consulting rates generally start at several $100s per hour and can quickly climb to $500 per hour or even much more for senior executives, experienced professionals, or people with very specialized areas of expertise. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts, and today I'd like to share our review of AlphaSights. AlphaSights is one of the big 5 companies that dominate the expert networks industry. So first, if you're not familiar with it, let's start with an overview of this industry as a whole. There are nearly 200 expert networks around the world, and this industry generates $2 billion per year. These expert networks specialize in helping investment managers, venture capitalists, and management consultants to rapidly learn the true details about a company, product, or industry. These high-powered clients might be on the verge of a multi-million-dollar investment or another major business decision. So they're going to want the inside scoop in a topic that they wouldn't quite get through a Google search. This is where expert network companies like AlphaSights come in. AlphaSights connects its clients to the people who really know what's going on with a company, product, or market, like former employees, customers, vendors, or even competitors, to rapidly get the real scoop on how things work, key metrics, and what it takes to be successful. Opinions from people with expertise on a topic are highly valuable to them, so they're willing to pay a pretty good rate for just an hour of your time, if you have the expertise that they're looking for. Now, to give you a bit more background on AlphaSights specifically. AlphaSights was founded in London, England in 2008 and calls itself a professional services firm. Since then, they've quickly spread to major cities around the globe. In 2017, the Financial Times cited this company as one of Europe's fastest growing companies. If you're watching this review of the AlphaSights Expert Network, perhaps it's because you received a LinkedIn invitation to be an expert consultant or advisor on their platform, and you want to know if this offer is legit or too good to be true. Well, expert networks are nearly a $2 billion global industry, and as one of the biggest firms, you can rest assured that AlphaSights is legit. They act as the middleman in a giant pool of experts, so if they reached out to you, it's probably because they had a client looking for someone with expertise in your specific field. If you haven't worked with AlphaSights before, the process is actually really straightforward. First, you'll probably speak to a recruiter, then answer a few questions about your qualifications. You should also set up your online profile with your career history and resume to open the door to future opportunities. If you're chosen for the project, the AlphaSights recruiter will set you up with a call with the client. And when it comes time for the client call, the client will typically come prepared with questions to ask you about your expertise. It should be a pretty easy conversation. If you were deemed an expert on the subject, most of the questions you'll be asked will have things that you've had years of experience deal with. And of course, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something if that's the case. And you'll never be pressured to give any information that you're not comfortable sharing. Once the call is done, your job is done. There are no deliverables or follow-ups, and it just takes a few clicks to get paid by AlphaSights, which should probably come in within about a week or two. And speaking of getting paid, consulting rates with AlphaSights generally start at several $100s per hour and can quickly climb to $500 per hour for much more senior executives, experienced professionals, or people with a very specialized area of expertise. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts. And today I'm going to be sharing our review of Dialectica. Expert networks like Dialectica work to connect business clients in a wide range of industries to advisors who can offer business insights via direct private phone consultations, or through surveys that provide information to drive decision-making. These consultations are used to inform investment or strategy decisions, so these clients are willing to pay top dollar for just an hour of your time if you have the expertise that they're looking for. Dialectica was founded in 2015 by former management consultants. The firm now consists of 250 employees across 4 offices in Athens, London, New York, and Montreal. Dialectica offers 3 core information services: one-to-one expert conversations, project-length expert engagements, or surveys of reports generated by expert knowledge. Dialectica has facilitated over 20,000 projects and was included in Financial Times' 2021 list of Europe's fastest-growing companies. It was the fastest-growing expert network, ranking 300th on the list. If an associate from Dialectica reached out to you, let me give you an overview of what to expect. They'll also work with you to set your hourly rate. Most experts start at $100 to $200 per hour, and that rate can quickly climb to $500 per hour for more experienced professionals. The associate will send you a link to a brief questionnaire that will ask for more details on your relevant work history, as well as a sampling of the questions the client will want to ask you in the 1-hour phone consult. The point of the questionnaire is to prove that you have the knowledge and experience they're looking for. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to fill out. Through this process, you'll also be registered in their system, which could lead to future consulting projects through their website. In talking to other experts, we've heard a few complaints about Dialectica project spam, which is frequent consulting requests for projects that are significantly far off topic. Making sure your Dialectica profile is crisp and specific is a great way to cut down on off-target requests and, of course, land more worthwhile opportunities. Once you're approved for a client call, the recruiter will handle scheduling and logistics. If the recruiter deemed you qualified for the call, then it should come easily and naturally to you. After all, you're talking about something you've likely had years of experience doing. The client is not expecting you to prepare a presentation. They're looking to rapidly download industry knowledge from your many years of experience. They'll usually come prepared with specific questions to confirm or clarify aspects of the business that they've already determined through their own research. When you're on a call, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something if that's the case. They'll never be asked to share non-public or proprietary information during a client call. Once you hang up the phone, your work is done. There are no follow-ups and no deliverables. Dialectica will generally deposit your fee directly into your bank account within a week or 2. From there, you're likely to regularly receive more invitations to participate in consulting opportunities with Dialectica, so be sure to keep your profile up to date. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts, and today I'm going to be sharing our review of proSapient. Expert networks like proSapient work to connect business clients in a wide range of industries to advisors who can offer business insights via direct private phone consultations or through surveys that provide information to drive decision-making. These consultations are used to inform major business decisions, so these clients are willing to pay top dollar for just an hour of your time if you have the expertise that they're looking for. proSapient is one of several up-and-coming expert networks that are capitalizing on new technologies such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, and robotic process automation. London-based proSapient offers the typical product mix, such as surveys and one-on-one expert consultations. It also offers a multi-vendor platform for clients in its bid to be a software as a service, or SaaS, for expert networks. They have recently expanded into the United States as they seek to offer a more technology-driven approach than some of the other leading expert networks like GLG, Guidepoint, and AlphaSights. Getting contacted by email or LinkedIn with an unexpected opportunity to get paid for holding a 1-hour consulting call can seem a bit fishy, but rest assured that an invitation to work with proSapient is legitimate and not some part of a scam. We would like to mention, however, that we did come across a few reviews from proSapient consultants that complained about not receiving payment or being paid late. So while this does not mean the company is a scam, they may still be working out some operational issues within the company. When you connect with a proSapient associate, they'll give you a brief overview of the firm and some details about the opportunity where you may be a fit. The associate will ask you to register for their site and answer a few short vetting questions to make sure you're a fit before proposing your profile to the client for review. You'll also be asked to set your hourly rate, which will generally start at $100 to $200 and can climb substantially from there for experienced professionals. Through this process, you'll also be registered in their system, which could lead to future consulting projects through their website. Once you're approved for a client call, the recruiter will handle scheduling and logistics. If the recruiter deems you qualified for the call, then it should come easily and naturally to you. After all, you're talking about something that you've likely had years of experience doing. The client is not expecting you to prepare a presentation. They're looking to rapidly download industry knowledge from your many years of experience. They'll guide the conversation with specific questions to confirm or clarify ideas that they've already formulated through their own research. When you're on a call, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something if that's the case, and you'll never be asked to share non-public or proprietary information during the client call. Once the call is done, your job is done. proSapient offers payment via PayPal or ACH direct deposit. You'll usually receive payment within 1 to 2 weeks of completing your proSapient consulting call or survey. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts. And today I'm going to be sharing our review of Atheneum Partners. Expert networks like Atheneum Partners work to connect business clients in a wide range of industries to advisors who can offer business insights via direct private phone consultations or through surveys that provide information to drive decision-making. These consultations are used to inform investments or major business decisions. So these clients are willing to pay top dollar for just an hour of your time if you have the expertise that they're looking for. Atheneum Partners is a mid-sized expert network with a 10-year history. They're headquartered in Berlin, Germany, with offices in 10 countries. They've reported growth rates of more than 50% in 2020 and 2021, and are looking to climb into the ranks of the largest expert networks with a recent $150 million capital investment. They operate a research-as-a-service product model to conduct primary research for management consulting firms, investment houses, and corporate clients. They offer a small variety of consulting products, including 1-hour consulting calls, primary research deliverables, and long-form consulting opportunities. If a recruiter from Atheneum Partners reaches out to you, the opportunity to earn a high rate from simply speaking with their client for an hour can sound too good to be true. But rest assured that Atheneum Partners is a legitimate company and not some sort of elaborate scam. However, we would like to point out that through our research of this company, we did come across a few complaints from consultants about the company's payment terms, timing, and some consultants reporting that they never received payment at all. Now, the company claims that they have addressed these concerns, but we didn't want to overlook this in our review. If an associate from Atheneum Partners reached out to you, let me give you an overview of what to expect. The associate will take a few minutes to explain the project parameters and have you fill out a survey to vet your relevant experience and knowledge. Even if you're not selected for this particular project, participating in this process will register you in their database, enabling you to quickly be selected for future projects. Once you're approved for a client call, the recruiter will handle scheduling and logistics. Speaking with the client should come naturally and easily to you. After all, you're talking about something you've likely had years of experience doing. The client is not expecting you to prepare a presentation. They're looking to rapidly download industry knowledge from your many years of experience. They usually come prepared with specific questions to confirm or clarify aspects of the business that they've already determined through their own research. When you're on a call, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something if that's the case, and you'll never be asked to share non-public or proprietary information during a client call. Once the call is done, your job is done. Atheneum offers payment via PayPal or ACH direct deposit, and you can expect payment within 45 days of the completion of the call. Hey there, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts, and today I'm going to be sharing our review of Third Bridge. Third Bridge is one of the big 5 companies that dominate the expert networks industry. Founded in 2007 as Cognolink before a 2015 rebrand, Third Bridge works to provide invaluable business insights, data, and in-depth research services to private equity firms, hedge funds, and strategy consultants. The company has rapidly transformed itself into a global entity, with a team of over 1,000 employees in 8 offices spanning 3 continents, with their headquarters in London. Despite being a $2 billion per year industry, expert networks are still relatively unknown to the general public. However, expert networks like Third Bridge are a major source of research and information to top management consultants, hedge funds, venture capitalists, and a growing number of large corporate clients. These clients are increasingly turning to expert networks to help make major decisions on investments, acquisitions, strategy, and new product development. So what exactly do these expert networks like ThirdBridge do? Their main goal is to help businesses gain vital information, perhaps before making a major business move. They find areas where companies need insights, and then they hunt for true subject matter experts to find those insights. People with years of current and very targeted experience, like former employees, customers, competitors, as well as key influencers, like doctors or former government officials. Once they match expert consultants with a project, they handle all of the logistics as well, like scheduling the call, ensuring compliance standards are met, creating transcripts for clients, and prompt payment of consultants. If you want to work with ThirdBridge, here's an overview of the process. Oftentimes, your introduction to ThirdBridge will be through one of their many recruiters, who may reach out to you via LinkedIn, email, or phone call. They'll tell you a bit about ThirdBridge and the project, and then they're going to ask you a few questions about your qualifications, note your availability, and help you set your hourly consulting rate. They'll also ask you to create an online profile with your career history and resume to open the door to future opportunities with ThirdBridge. If you're chosen for the project, the ThirdBridge recruiter will set you up with a call with the client. During the call, the client will want to get your overview of a product, company, or industry that they're researching, and will have pointed questions to ask you. These calls are usually engaging conversations. The clients usually have thoughtful and interesting questions that are easy for you to answer, since they're probably going to be about what you've been doing for years. Now remember, expert networks exist to give companies an edge without breaking ethical guidelines or crossing legal boundaries. Advisors aren't allowed to disclose confidential or protected information, and strict compliance guidelines and training are in place to help keep both you and the client from disclosing anything improper. So you'll never feel pressured to share information you're not comfortable with. Once the call is done, your job is done. There's no follow-up work or no deliverable. Make sure you have your payment info set up on ThirdBridge. Once that's all taken care of, you can expect to get paid in about a week or two. In addition to phone consultations, ThirdBridge also offers opportunities through form interviews, where you can join a team of other specialists. ThirdBridge consulting rates generally start at several $100s per hour and can quickly climb to $500 per hour or even much more for senior executives, experienced professionals, or people with a very specialized area of expertise. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the expert network experts. And today I'm going to be sharing our review of Coleman Research. Coleman Research is one of the big 5 companies that dominate the expert networks industry. There are nearly 200 expert networks around the world, and this industry generates $2 billion per year. Expert networks specialize in helping investment managers, venture capitalists, and management consultants rapidly learn the true details about a company, product, or industry. These high-powered clients might be on the verge of a multi-million-dollar investment or another major business decision. They want the inside scoop on a topic in a way they wouldn't quite get through a Google search. They have a lot of money on the line with these decisions, so they're willing to pay top dollar for more information from experts with deep and current expertise in the topic they're exploring. True feet on the street. Expert networks like Coleman Research exist to connect with former employees, competitors, customers, or influencers who can cut through the rosy management presentations and pretty websites to deliver a true view of how a business is performing, what opportunities and challenges it faces, and how strong its future prospects are. Coleman Research was founded in New York in 2003. Now they have offices in Boston, Hong Kong, London, Raleigh, and San Francisco, and a network of consultants spread across 12,000 cities. Coleman has facilitated over 200,000 projects, connecting clients and consultants through one-on-one phone consultations, hosted events, and surveys. With this many projects, the firm is always looking for new experts across nearly every function, level, and industry. Maybe you're watching this video because a recruiter from Coleman Research reached out to you. If you're interested in learning more about the process, here's how it normally works. First, clients present Coleman Research with a project designed to help answer a question or solve a particular problem that they're facing. Coleman will then filter through their vast talent pool to find suitable advisors for them. Sometimes they seek to recruit people from outside the platform, so recruiters will scour LinkedIn, online bios, and other sources to find potential consultants with a strong fit with the project requirements. When a Coleman Research recruiter reaches out to you, they'll generally send a brief LinkedIn message or email that vaguely describes the project opportunity. Once they connect with you, they'll tell you more about what the client is looking for, ask you a few questions about your qualifications for the project, and recommend an hourly consulting rate. Then they'll submit your profile along with others to the client, who will then select which experts they'd like to speak with. You won't land every project, so don't get discouraged if you're not selected for the first couple of projects that you apply for. If you're chosen for the project, Coleman will make all the arrangements for the call at a time that's convenient for you. Client calls are generally about 60 minutes long, and they're usually quite interesting and engaging. The client is eager to rapidly get up to speed on something that you've been doing for years, so the conversations often cover a lot of ground. Since the client wants to learn more about an area that is second nature to you, you can usually give insightful and authoritative answers without much thought that the client can quickly come up the learning curve. During the call, you never have to disclose any information you don't feel comfortable sharing. It should be a pretty casual and straightforward experience. Once you complete the call, you quickly get paid by Coleman Research, and paid well. These clients don't mind paying hundreds or in some cases even thousands of dollars per hour for information that could potentially make or save them far more money than they spend. Coleman Research consulting rates generally start at several $100s per hour and can quickly climb to $500 per hour or even much more for senior executives, experienced professionals, or people with a very specialized area of expertise. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts, and today I'm going to be sharing our review of Arbolus Technologies. Arbolus is an expert network which is a custom recruiting firm focused on connecting subject matter experts with institutional investor clients looking to better understand an industry, company, or product. Founded originally as CIQ Group in 2017, the firm was rebranded as Arbolus Technologies in 2019. Arbolus was founded by two managers from AlphaSights, Sam Glasswell and Will Leeming. The firm has been experiencing rapid growth, acquiring Waterside, another budding expert network, in 2019. Headquartered in London, the firm also has offices in Barcelona, New York, and New Delhi. Arbolus has raised $21 million in venture capital investments to fuel its rapid expansion. If an associate from Arbolus reached out to you, it means they think you might be a good fit for a short, paid consulting project with one of their clients. Recruiters for expert networks like Arbolus rely heavily on LinkedIn to identify potential experts on a project based on their experience, expertise, and employment history. The Arbolus associate will send you a link to a brief questionnaire that will ask for more details on your relevant work history, as well as a sampling of the questions the client will want to ask in the 1-hour phone consult. The point of the questionnaire is to quickly demonstrate that you have the knowledge and experience that they're looking for. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to fill out. You will also be able to set your hourly consulting rate and availability at this time. Through this process, you'll also be registered in their system, which could lead to future consulting projects with Arbolus clients. Once you're approved for the client call, the recruiter will handle the logistics, scheduling the call at a time that's convenient for both you and the client. You shouldn't feel the need to prepare for the call. The client wants to learn about a topic that you're deeply experienced with and is not expecting a deliverable or a presentation. The format is highly conversational, and you should be able to answer the questions easily based on years of experience in your industry. The client will usually come prepared with specific questions to confirm or clarify aspects of the business that they've already determined through their own research. When you're on a call, don't be afraid to say that you don't know something if that's the case, and you'll never be asked to share non-public or proprietary information during the client call. Once you hang up the phone, your work is done. There are no follow-ups and no deliverables. Arbolus payments are made via ACH, wire, or physical check. You should be prompted to enter your payment information immediately after the call. Now that you're part of the network, you can use the Arbolus platform to participate in further calls by keeping your information up to date and periodically checking in. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the Expert Network Experts, and today I'm going to be sharing our review of Tegus. Tegus was founded in 2016 by Michael Elnick, a former AlphaSights associate, and his identical twin brother, Thomas Elnick. The two serve as co-founders and co-CEOs. The company raised a $90 million Series B funding round led by Obendorf Enterprises and Willoughby Capital in November 2021 to fuel the company's continued rapid growth. In late 2021, the company acquired BAMSEC, a platform that makes it easy to access and work with SEC filings and earnings transcripts. Tegus is based in Chicago with a European office in Waterford, Ireland. The company has over 300 employees to service its more than 1,000 clients. While some expert networks have a broader client focus, Tegus works exclusively with investors, such as hedge fund and mutual fund managers and venture capitalists. Tegus claims to have facilitated over 25,000 client calls on its website and is currently arranging more than 900 each month. In an unusual twist on the expert network model, transcripts of most of the Tegus client calls are made available to the entire client base. Recruiters for expert networks rely heavily on LinkedIn to identify potential experts for a project based on their employment history. If an associate from Tegus reaches out to you, it means they think you might be a good fit for a short project with one of their clients. If you're interested, you'll be asked to create a profile on the Tegus platform and answer a few short screening questions about your qualifications for the project, which generally requires a few sentences about your relevant work experience and knowledge of the subject. You'll then have the opportunity to set your Tegus hourly rate. Getting set up with Tegus should only take about 15 to 20 minutes of your time, and may be the start of a lucrative long-term relationship, as you'll also be registered in their system, which could lead to future consulting projects through their website. Once the Tegus associate has your profile, rate, and your responses to the short screening questions, they'll present you to their client. If you're selected to participate in a client call, the recruiter will handle all of the scheduling of the meeting at a time that is convenient for both you and the client. You should not feel the need to prepare for the call. Client calls tend to be easy and engaging conversations about a topic where you have substantial experience. The client will usually come prepared with a few specific questions to confirm or clarify aspects of the business that they've already determined through their own research. When you're on a call, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something if that's the case, and you'll never be asked to share non-public or proprietary information during a client call. Once you hang up the phone, your work is done. There are no follow-ups and no deliverables. Tegus payment options include ACH for the US-based consultants, or a bank wire, physical check, or PayPal. After you complete a call, you'll be prompted to provide payment preference and details. Payment is usually sent a week or two after your client interaction. Now that you're a part of the network, you'll be periodically contacted to participate in new projects, especially as you build a history of completing successful client calls. Hi, I'm Abigail from Expert Opportunities, the expert network experts, and today I'm going to be sharing our review of Stream Research Group. Stream Research Group is an expert network, a firm that specializes in sourcing subject matter experts for recorded interviews with industry analysts, as well as short-term consulting engagements. Clients turn to expert networks like Stream Research Group to quickly perform first-hand research on products, companies, or markets from the people who know them best, such as former employees, customers, vendors, competitors, or other key influencers. Stream was originally a product offering developed by Mosaic Research, a mid-tier expert network founded over a decade ago. In 2021, Mosaic sold Stream to business information service AlphaSense, not to be confused with the large expert network AlphaSights. New York-based Stream has recently used several names, including Stream Research Group, Stream by AlphaSense, Mosaic Stream, and Stream by Mosaic. Don't be alarmed by these name changes. AlphaSense is a legitimate company, and an invitation to participate in an interview with Stream is not a scam. Stream works differently from typical expert networks, which connect experts directly with a client for roughly a 1-hour-long consulting call at a high hourly rate. With Stream, your initial experience will usually be a recorded interview with an analyst, typically an investment manager with deep experience in your industry. The recorded interview and transcript will be made available to Stream's clients with your name removed to provide you with anonymity. You usually won't be paid for this initial call, though we do recommend that you ask for compensation. Stream will provide you with a shareable copy of your interview and free access to its content library of over 10,000 interviews, recordings, and transcripts for 6 months. Clients who reviewed your interview may also connect with you via Stream for follow-up paid consulting calls. While Stream generally does not pay for this initial analyst interview, this is not a standard industry practice. Nearly all other expert networks will compensate you for speaking with clients or analysts. However, recording an interview with Stream may be a worthwhile route to bolster your brand or gain free access to Stream's extensive content library. After the initial interview, if you're invited to do a consulting call with Stream's clients, rates seem about on par with most other expert networks. If you are selected for a consulting call through Stream, you shouldn't feel the need to overly prepare for the call. The client is not expecting a deliverable or a presentation. The format is highly conversational, and you should be able to answer the questions easily based on years of experience in your industry.
Office Hours is an expert network platform that helps knowledge workers share their knowledge on demand. We service both traditional expert network customers as well as startups and early stage founders and hospital systems and nonprofits and governments. Our mission is to help everyone realize the true value of what they know. And we're here to build a software platform that helps people share the value that's literally stuck in their heads. I was an early employee at one of the largest expert networks in the world, and at my time there, I realized that almost all expert networks are focused much more on the customer side rather than the actual expert side. And at the time, I also saw that professionals in general were becoming more interested in part-time consulting and doing expert interviews. And so we built office hours to help those professionals share their knowledge and, unlock the value of literally the stuff that's stuck in their heads.
What makes office hours different? There we go. What makes office hours different?
During my time in the expert network industry, I saw key pain points for the expert side. And we set out to solve, a few of which we identified, one being lack of transparency on the expert side, 2, unfair advisory rates, and then 3, poor project matching.
Okay, so let's get into, one of the things I found interesting about office hours is, your client base is quite a bit different than most other expert networks, where it's usually investment funds or private equity firms or management consultants. You want to talk a little bit about who your customer base is and what they're generally most interested in?
Sure. We work with a range of clients. We definitely work with the usual suspects. So venture capital, growth equity, private equity, hedge funds, consulting firms. We have a lean towards software and life sciences. But more uniquely, I think, to office hours, it's part of our mission is to democratize access to human knowledge. And so we have early stage founders and nonprofits and hospital systems that access and utilize office hours every day and consult with experts on our platform.
What's a typical project like with office hours? What is the client looking for, and how they interact with the expert?
Well, look, we have a range of different use cases for our customers and why they come to office hours to discover and connect with an expert. We'd like to think that the use cases are sort of endless. Imagine a world where you can pick the brain of someone else, halfway around the world about a particular topic. That would be helpful. We run the gamut in terms of, those use cases, everything from product discovery, so B2B user interviews if you want to speak to target buyers of a potential product that you want to bring to market, having access to potential customers right there at your fingertips. We have hospital systems that are designing a new, radiology centers and, want to learn best practices from radiology executive directors on building that out. We have early stage founders who are looking for mentorship advice, everything from fundraising to growth strategies. And then, obviously we operate, we have many venture capital and growth equity customers as well, looking to do early stage diligence on potential technologies. So.
Okay. How does an expert typically interact with a client? Is it a standard 1-to-1, 1-hour expert network call, or is there more to it?
So our primary, modality is the one-on-one phone consultation. We have a video conferencing platform with screen sharing as well too. But we also do what's called verified questionnaires, where this is one of our first asynchronous products where experts can actually answer Q&A questions on their own time and submit responses, both free text as well as free responses, as well as multiple choice questions. And then the last piece, I think, is what happens after these consultations. And so we're very proud of the fact that oftentimes we'll build relationships between customers and experts, where experts go on to join advisory boards, scientific councils, become customers or advisors of some of our customers.
That's great. And as you said, you kind of serve a wide range of customers and areas, but are there maybe a couple or 3 areas of expertise or industries that are most in demand?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, this might be a little obvious, but a big trend right now is thinking through how to integrate, advances in AI and large language models into products or technologies or business strategies. And so, we have a burgeoning network of machine learning AI technologists, as well as strategists as well, who are and operators who could speak on that.
That's great. And let's talk for a little bit about, from the expert perspective, how the office hours platform works. With a lot of expert networks, it's sort of a high touch. Someone behind the scenes is matching clients and experts. It seems a little bit more self-serve with office hours. Can you explain how that works?
One thing that's unique about office hours is we're designed to empower people to share the value of what they know. Part of this, a unique feature of office hours, is actually every expert has the option to have a public profile. So literally officehours.com/Mitchell. This is your one-stop consulting shop where you can actually share your public profile with potential customers, potential clients of yours to engage in a sort of safe and seamless consultation. And so we take care of the NDAs and the scheduling and the payments all through our software.
Okay, that's great. And can you talk about the process of getting matched to projects? Do you do outreach to experts? Do experts need to kind of go and apply? How does that work?
We both recruit experts ourselves. We have recruiters, and for specific projects and specific clients, experts can also apply as well too. We have an application process, and then we approve through verifying employment and identity. And then also one thing unique about office hours is that experts choose their own hourly rate. We help recommend this, but I think unlike other expert networks, experts are able to choose whatever hourly rate that they'd like to be booked for.
Sure. So I'm sure, like with every expert network, it's a pretty wide range of rates. Can you talk maybe about what the sweet spot is, sort of for people earlier, mid, and senior in their career?
It's quite situational, but we would say, at the more senior director and above level, a common rate would be anything $250 to $500, $600 an hour even, is an appropriate rate. Absolutely. I think what we'd like to do is, be able to actually have rates be much more dynamic and not be, expression of just career histories or tenure experience, but even more so sort of availability, demand, intention, who the end customer is as well too.
What's the best way for someone to, create a profile that's going to stand out and help them land more business on the office hours platform?
Yeah, I think the best way, I think there are two critical things to maximize, opportunities on office hours. I think the first is, creating an accurate profile, going through your career history, making sure that that's accurate, putting as much detail on that as possible. The second piece I think that's unique to office hours is that we built this functionality called knowledge tags. You can think of this as just like structured, expressions of the things that across all different types of categories. We built our own back-end knowledge graph ontology. The more the knowledge tags that you enter, this could be on growth marketing or podcasting or particular technologies that you're a customer of, or drugs that you prescribe if you're a physician. The smarter our system gets, it'll recommend you even more knowledge tags to label yourself with. And then you can actually even label those knowledge tags and talk about, the reasons why you might know about a particular topic and to the extent that you know about that topic. Those are helpful in terms of discovery in our searchable marketplace. And then two, it gives us, our team on the back end, a better understanding of your knowledge areas to send you the right types of projects at the right volume. The second piece, I think, is, as I mentioned, officehours.com/Mitchell. People put their office hours profiles in their social media, on their LinkedIns, on their Twitters, on their GitHub bios. People put them in their newsletters, and this is a great way if you have some sort of audience or potential customers that are reaching out and asking to pick your brain. They can do that with one click and schedule and book you and have that consultation over office hours as well.
That's great. Let's move to the next part of the funnel, which is finding and responding to opportunities, especially since there's somewhat of a self-serve component
Yeah.
to the platform. What are some tips you have for how people can land more projects?
Yeah, I think one thing that's very cool is that our customers can directly interact with our experts on our platform, and so our customers have the ability to send booking requests. They can, with detailed messages, they can create projects themselves, and they can also just send messages as well too. And so you can think about it a lot like a two-sided marketplace.
Let's talk for a minute about sort of the most active and successful experts on your platform. What sets them apart, and what do you think sort of the couple key learnings are from them that others can use to get up and running?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm thinking about some of the most successful advisors on our platform, they engage regularly. They're reply back to potential customer requests in a timely fashion. They're using their own office hours link, and so oftentimes they'll get their own business and they'll get their own opportunities by using their URL. And then the more consultations that you conduct on office hours, the more feedback that you receive, and the more likely that you'll be discovered by others as well too.
Sure. Any tips you have for people just getting started with office hours on how to land that first project?
Look, I think, filling out the profile and adding as many knowledge tags as possible is the first piece. I think being available and, engaged when customers do reach out, and, being honest, but confirming sort of, whether it's the right fit or not. And then, our team is always more than happy to connect one-on-one and support there and helping out fill out the profile as well too.
Okay. And where should someone go if they want to get started and create an office hours profile?
So we have if you just go to our website, officehours.com, you can sign up for the wait list. That puts you on our application process. Someone will reach out. Someone on our team reaches out, on our advisor team, and we'll be able to get you started. We have an onboarding process. The other way is actually through referrals in the program. And so every advisor has the ability to refer other advisors in the program as well too onto the platform. And so those would be probably the two best ways to get started.